let's see if I can try another way here. And if I wanted to connect to a database engine, you can do it one of two ways for the authentication, right? We can authenticate the user uh, on the Windows, or we can also do it using the SQL Server authentication, right? Now, if we do the Windows authentication, then SQL Server has nothing to do with it. It will authenticate using the Windows domain controller, and therefore the username and the password is already grayed out. Um, in which I think this is much more sophisticated, but we are able to uh, control the authentication from the server point of view, where we will can create a login ID and then enforce a little bit of the password policies, and so we can do both of them. One of the things that I do want to share and show you is when we talk about security on the SQL Server, uh, I want to clarify that there are two areas that you can look into. So as you can see here, we have security, a portion here. This security here is referring to the instance of this SQL Server. So here you can see that there are logins, and this SA is a powerful system administrator, so be careful using this. But you can create users here and look at the properties and stuff like that. But all this is tied to the SQL Server instance. Okay. But there's another area that you can look into in terms of security, and that has to do with not the SQL Server instance, but on the database level. So you can look into, let's say, AdventureWorks database, right? In here, in each of the databases, you will see a security as well. So if you expand the user here, you will see that there is a user who has access to or has say security settings that are tied to this particular database. And you can have it for other ones. Here's a sample test one, and again here's a security that you can use to create or whatever, right? So I just want you to be aware that when we talk about security, there are two places. One on the uh, SQL Server instance level, right, as well as on the database level. So don't get those two confused. I know it is easy to get confused. Um, Next item that I want to talk about is how to create a login, right? Login has to do with the SQL Server, not to a database. So if you want to create a login, you would come to the instance security here. So you would manage the login here. If you go to the database level, let's say AdventureWorks here, you do not have logins here because you don't log into a database. You log into a instance of the SQL Server. So all you have to do is if you want to create a sample or test login, just right click on here and create a new login here. Okay, and then you can give it a name. Since I already have a user 2, maybe I'll create a user 3, and you can just hit OK. But you probably want to look at what kind of a sort of role this person would have. You can provide various roles. It is helpful to assign a role if you want to allow this person rather than giving a user access. Well, the best practice is to tie the user to a role and then give that role a security. Um, so we can do that. The public server role allows the connection, nothing much more than that. You can map the user to a particular database up here, and we can grant or map this person to a AdventureWorks 2019. We could do that, right? And we can assign a different membership here, and we can say data reader, which is probably nice, right? So we can do that. You can also do a securables here to particular tables and stuff like that, which we probably don't want to do that at this point, right? And you can click OK. And let's see here. Yeah, this is complaining that it is not a Windows NT name. So if we go here to the general, and because we're creating inside of the SQL Server, we want to use the SQL Server authentication for this person to log in. And we need to provide a password. So you can type in something, simple. You can call them an admin or something like that, right? Or maybe just to keep it the same, I'm just going to use a user3 and user3. But here, I probably, for the sake of this demonstration, I don't want to enforce the password policy because you may want to do that in the real life example. But that's basically what I want to do. So I want to just use a user3, and then same thing for the password, which is not a good practice, but it'll do for this practice. So click OK, and everything should be okay. So here we have a user or login for 3. Now, if we go back, let's see here. Here's a user3 that we created a user in. But what I'd like you to notice here is, as it just kind of zoomed in here, you also see a user being populated under a AdventureWorks 2019 because that's what we gave it, right? So that's why it populates. But if you go over to, let's say, AdventureWorks 2012, I know we didn't do that. I just did it here. Here, if you look under security, and there is a users, there is no user3, right? Or if you just go to any test database you may have created and you look under its own security, there should not be a user3, all right? So we can test it out to see if we can actually log in using user3. So let's do that. And the way we do it is we can just go to the connect, just to a database engine here. We're not going to use Windows authentication because we created the user3 using SQL Server authentication. So we're going to do that. And then I'm going to use user3, and I think I just gave the same thing as a password, user3. And I'm just going to, for the ease of my demonstration, I'm just going to check this box. And then we can do a connect. And so it does connect successfully. And here the Object Explorer view does show that I have still connection as the my own SQL Server instance of skadmin, but I also have another connection using SQL Server using user3. So let's see if we can go to the databases here, and database works here, and then maybe I'll just do a new query, and and let's see what kind of tables we have. And let's see here, and maybe we can do person address here, and if I can do a select 1,000 rows, it'll do that for me, right? And if you say, well, I want to do my own, well, then that's fine. We can, let's see here, do a new query, and then we can say use AdventureWorks 2019, and we can do a, let's see here, Just make sure that we use the right database here. This is kind of redundant, but I am forcing it, and then I'm going to try to select everything from this person address table here. And then if you just execute, it reads it, right? If I go over to, let's say, I want to use some other database, right? Let's see if we can do that. Let's say I want to do AdventureWorks 2012, right? And then I try to execute this. It is going to not work because it does not have access. So that's just a simple basic demo that I wanted to clarify for you. Hopefully that is helpful.